Welcome, everyone, to episode 1 of the Michael Jordan Week on the SlabStox podcast and YouTube channel. We are joined here by Cage Lawyer. Cage, introduce yourself and your son you got there with you.
How you doing? Matt Weerth, Ian. We're going to talk about Jordan rookies, and one day they'll all be his.
There we go. So this week on the SlabStox channel, we have a 3-part Michael Jordan interview series coming out. I'm not an expert in Michael Jordan cards or cards before 2010, really, or 2000. But I went and found a couple different experts in a couple different Michael Jordan segments of the card market. We have Matt here to talk about the Jordan rookie cards and their values and his journey through collecting Jordan rookie cards. Then later this week, we have a couple people to do the inserts and the 90s rare cards. So to start off here, Matt, I just want you to talk about your Jordan collecting journey, how you got into collecting Jordan, what cards you were looking for, and also maybe talk about a couple cards you really love that you have.
Sure. So it's funny because, I started collecting in the late 80s, early 90s, and basketball was not huge. And looking back, my first collecting set was an 87 top set. There are a lot of people my age who say that's the set, the baseball set, the wood border. And, you think back now, I can't believe how many years it is, 30 plus years back. But imagine if instead of opening hundreds of wax packs of tops with a wood border trying to find, Bo Jackson rookies, if I would have, instead found somebody who was selling 86, 87 Fleer wax. The thing is, just at the time, nobody was buying it. It just wasn't as big as baseball. Basketball wasn't as big as baseball. And, a lot of people don't know the story. I mean, that 86, 87 Fleer was their first foray into the hobby. Topps was in it for quite some time. I think 82, 83, 82 was the end of the Topps run, and we'll get into what filled that gap between 82, 83, and 86, 87 in a minute with the star cards. But my in 87 it's baseball, 88 it's baseball.
You have to tell yourself.
Yeah, well, it's a regret. That's what happens. But so looking back, it's amazing. But in the early 90s, people started getting into basketball because Shaq was a phenomenon, and it's so funny because it's so similar to what's going on in the hobby now. You have Zion. Everybody's Zion crazy. You have people getting into the hobby now to buy Zion. It's almost exactly the way it was in 92. People who were either baseball guys jumping into basketball, and you could have seen it a little bit last year with Luka and Trae Young and that kind of stuff. But Zion is just taking it to an entirely different level. And people are focusing on basketball cards who, might have not focused on basketball cards, might focus on not cards at all, sneaker flippers, you name it. But, at the time, I remember 92 was a huge switch in cards. Everybody went over to 92 Upper Deck. Everybody was, trying to buy Stadium Club. Everybody was looking for Shaq, chasing Shaq. And, at that time, people started looking into, well, Jordan's huge. What kind of Jordan cards are out there? And, I'm not going to talk about all the Jordan inserts and stuff from the 90s, but they got huge as well. But, all of a sudden you started seeing the Jordan rookie cards, and people would notice it in the cases. People would notice it in the, in the hobby stores. And, I mean, the Jordan rookie was, if I remember the first one that I saw, it was sitting in a case for $165. Ungraded. I'm sure the corners were crappy. I'm sure it was not, in good shape.
Sure it was bit.
It was not bit, but I'm sure it was one of those cards where, no one was thinking about grading at the time. It was early 90s. But, instead you'd buy a couple of $1 pack and hope to get a Shaq. And the funny thing is, I remember not having a problem paying $25 or $30 for a Stadium Club Shaquille O'Neal rookie card at the time. And that's probably what it goes for now raw, maybe even more than what it goes for now raw. But you got the
Prism John Morant.
John Morant. So this is what happens. You get my kid doesn't think of Michael Jordan, thinks of John Morant. But people like me will get back into the hobby and say, you know what, let me look for the older stuff. And at the time, I remember it was probably the first explosion of Jordan cards at the time was people who were now focusing on it in the 90s. I never bought one there at the time. I was a kid, so I was looking for what was hot, what was new, and you're seeing a lot of that now with Zion. But the other investors out there, Jordan,
Shockwaves,
Kobe, LeBron, you see upticks in all those guys. And it's after, I think it was 82 was the end of Topps in basketball. 83, 84, a Star Company came out. And for people who are watching this that don't have any kind of an idea of what that is, there are 2 cards that you would consider Jordan's quote-unquote rookie card. Maybe 3 if you include a sticker. We can talk about all 3. The Star rookie card, most call it an extended rookie. You've seen it if you ever looked like a Beckett price guide or anything like that. They call it an XRC. Star cards came out. They were weird distribution. They were put in team bags starting at 83. The first set in 83 was like a 75 card team set for XRC. The first Star sets, 83, 84 came out. They were in team bags. So they just had team bags, and I'm pretty sure it was just like a 75 card all-star set from the time, and they were distributed like crazy. Only about 5,000 of those team bags. Some of the teams didn't even have 1,000 distribution. I think there were print issues on them, like the Dallas set, maybe the Boston set. But the next year, the 84, 85 set, that was the one that got some attention because it had Michael Jordan in it, right? So Michael Jordan's XRC card number 101. There was also an Olympic card of him. Why people don't consider him the quote unquote rookie, even though it's his first card, is because it wasn't pack distributed. It wasn't an NBA specific license, like Fleer was, where you could open up a pack, have a complete set. It was distributed weird. A lot of the Midwest locations didn't even get them. There were these master distributors that distributed these card packs, team bags, basically out to odd distribution outlets. So some people never even saw them. If you look back on them, those that's the first quote-unquote card that's out there for Jordan. The other little interesting part about Star and what may make it tough to continue to grab on. I mean, it's two schools of thought on it. One, I think it might actually make it worth more. And there was a time where two grading companies, we talk about third-party graders. Hopefully everybody watching this knows I don't have to go too deep into that, what a third-party grader is. But there were two third-party graders that actually graded the cards, BGS and GAI, which is a lesser-known one. But BGS actually graded the cards. They don't grade them anymore. So what's odd is, unlike the 86, 87 Fleer, if you find one raw at a card show or in a store, you can send it in, get it graded now, and, it's adding to the population. Whereas the Star Pop, that's it. The BGS Star population is not increasing. What it is, it will remain. That probably hurts the raw cards. And there's a lot of talk of counterfeiting of those, different card stock, people making fakes of them. They weren't exactly the most intricate design, not a lot of colors on it. It's just,
quick question, because it intrigues me. Why did BGS stop grading them?
I think at the time, and I hope they start regrading again, but I think at the time, the amount of fraudulent copies that were out there, the amount of just fakes that were out there, they just said, we're not going to keep grading. My hope is that at some point in time, just given the popularity of Michael Jordan and that particular card and the other Star cards, that they start grading them again.
That's a Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah, with the red border.
The red border, very similar. You see it's in a BGS case. It's a BGS 9. It's pretty nice.
Patrick Ewing.
Dominique Wilkins. Yeah. So I try to stick on the high grade on these. There's not many things out there, these BGS ones. As you can see, I mean, if you can get a little detail on it, there's not much to the card. You know what I mean? It's not very detailed, not very intricate. People who collect cards today, you see, my son loves these Revolution cards where it looks like, I don't know, a rainbow threw up on the card. That's not it, right? It's it's very plain. You can see the Revolution. There you go.
Revolution,
So I mean, there's the next year Barkley white border, 9, and you can see
still nice looking card.
So I mean, it's different, and
does BGS still do they grade the non-Jordans, or do they?
They don't grade any Star.
Any Star, okay. Dang, nice. So those probably fetch a pretty good dollar than the BGS graded Stars because they just know.
As opposed to getting raw, or people like to buy sealed team bags, so that you'd hope that they're not counterfeiting a whole team bag. Believe it or not, these cards, which everybody thinks Barkley, Dominique, Ewing. You try to find a PSA 10, which is equivalent to these. I mean, there's probably 9.5s out there, and there's other ones, but those are 4-figure cards, every one of them. Yeah. Ewing's $1,000. The Dominique, the last Dominique PSA 10 for Fleer sold for $2,500, and that's probably cheap. There's not that many of them out there. The Barkley is, a $1,500 card. These cards are a fraction of that card, the Jordan Star. I happen to like it a lot because there are no BGS 10s, right? So I like to talk about the population reports of these things. Now, there are some influencers out there that like to keep banging supply and demand, and that's 100% right. There will always be more demand for the 86, 87 Fleer Jordan. It's thought of as his rookie. It is an iconic card. It's a great card. And, believe it or not, as much of it as they printed, there is not a huge supply of the PSA 10s of it. But what's funny is if you think about we're just going to talk about the Jordan Star 101, the one that's considered the XRC.
Yeah.
The total population in BGS, total population is 810 cards. And look, there's a lot of reasons for that, right? They're not grading them anymore. You know, if you go pull up eBay now, you're going to find a few of them. So it's not the rarest card in the world. You'll find a lot of them raw. But there is a premium put on the ones that got graded by BGS, because you buy on eBay, there's a chance that you're buying a fake. You're buying a counterfeit because they were counterfeited. So the ones that are in BGS slabs, I will tell you just a little like aside, the only BGS cards that I own, besides LeBron that I just got for my son, that I had to get him because I sold his PSA 10. I wanted to go a little cheap. So this is his collection. A little
There you
BGS
go.
9.5 quad, right? So the only BGS cards I own are the 3 that you just saw and the Jordans. Just stop. And if I could, you know, if I could pitch a business idea to PSA after this whole quarantine is over, there has to be a way now with paper testing, with, you know, with the science the way that it is now, where they can figure out which ones of these star cards were counterfeits and which ones aren't.
Yeah, and PSA never graded them?
Never.
Okay, so BGS star is really the thing.
Never, because you know what's funny? You know, like some people have seen Bigfoot. I've definitely seen pictures of a Star Jordan in a PSA case. So I don't want to say never. I don't know how the hell that happened. I don't know. You know, somebody did it. You know, like it was like a Photoshop. I don't know if there was like a 1 week where PSA said, sure, we'll grade these, and a couple of them snuck out of the factory. But I've definitely seen pictures of the Star Jordan in a PSA case. But as far as what's been, you know, told to the general public, PSA never graded these. It was just BGS and GAI. So back to the pops on them, right? So 9.5, which would be the highest. There are no 10s. There's no BGS 10, no black label, no no pristine in these stars. Just because they, you know, the corners are bad, the surfaces are bad. I mean, it's a very dull, non-glossy car, a lot of scratches on it and stuff, and being sent out in team bags. It didn't exactly secure the things in there. A lot of corner dings, you know, centering issues. As if, you know, the company wasn't around doing this for a long time. Prism can't get centering right there, and how long it's been around. So BGS 9.5, if those come for sale and you want to mortgage your house for it, go right ahead, because there's only 3 of them. So
how much? How much has there been any sales recorded of 9.5?
So there hasn't been anything recent, but they're 6-figure cards.
Yeah.
So I mean, a BGS 9.5 will sell for way more than even the Jordan 8687 Fleer. But it's because the 8687 Fleer last check was 312 of those.
Yeah. So, PSA 10 and 86 Fleer is what, like 50K now?
Yeah, the last couple sold 44, 45. But we'll talk about that pricing and what I think about that pricing in a minute, because that pricing on that's peaks and valleys. So we'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, if money was not a choice right now, and it's like it didn't make a difference, you wanted to buy the best Jordan rookie you could get, for my money, again, this is if money means nothing, you buy one of those 3. It's almost like a priceless item. There's only 3 BGS 9.5 graded. Even the 9s, there's only 65 of them. So
that's so rare.
A couple of 8.5s, and even the 8.5s, I have one of, I think, 4 or 5 that have 9 centering on an 8.5. There's less BGS 8.5s than there are Jordan 10 8687s. If you were to do the combined top 8.5 and above, now you're starting to get into the numbers that there are Jordan 10s and 8687. So it's 3, 65, and 215. So the combined total of BGS 8.5 at better is, do the math on that, 283, and there's 312 Jordan PSA 10s. So, you know, I mean, if you're just doing like a supply thing, you know, the high level BGS slabbed Jordan 101s from 84, 85 star are it's pretty comparable to what you have on the PSA 10s.
Who's
so,
Del Curry?
Del Curry, Steph Curry's dad. He was a good shooter. It's trivia time. So I mean, the star ones, that happens to be my favorite card because you don't see too many of them in high grade. The next Jordan that I buy, unless we see a price correction in the 86, 87 Fleers back to where they were like last year. Oh wow, it's 12 o'clock. Damn, robots.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. So, would be to try to find a 9, you know, BGS 9, and they sell for about what Jordan rookie Fleers were selling for last year. So the last couple sold for about 25,000.
BGS 9 star.
BGS 9 star. Yep.
Dang, nice. I actually I've seen the design of the star. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Obviously 86 Fleer is the card. I have a PSA 2 of it. So, I don't have a crap ton of money to work with. So I, picked up a PSA 2. I was like, I just got to get my hands on a Jordan rookie. So I went with that. But I mean, I like it, of course. I'm just going to hold on to it. So what are we looking at with the 86 Fleer and what's been going on recently? Like, obviously there's been a huge influx in the hobby, a ton of money coming in. Is it something that's really like just exploded, or is there a lot of people chasing it, or do you just think it's a couple of really big spenders going after it?
So the 86, 87 Fleer Jordan is just one of those weird storied cards, right? So it's always going to be thought of as like an iconic card. So, it's one that will always have value. It's one that's always going to, if you look at like the stock market, there's ups and there's downs, right? But if you look at it over a long period of time, it just goes up, right? There are peaks, there are valleys. You have times where it drops like we are now, but it'll eventually go back up. That's the Jordan rookie card. And, what's funny is what I would implore the people watching this video to do is type in Michael Jordan rookie manipulation, all right? Or Michael Jordan rookie boom in price. And what you're going to find is you're going to find articles from 2016. You're also going to find articles from 2012. You're going to find articles from years before that. And what you're going to see is, and you can look this up in your worth points or in your eBay sales or, PWCC, which some people love and some people hate. They have, like a price,
historical price trends.
You can look up what the prices were, right? So you'll find articles about what I would call Jordan booms. There were booms in 11, 12. There's a boom in 16 again now. And those booms, it's weird. I don't know what causes them. I don't know if it's a couple of people fighting over the 10s that are out there because there's not a huge supply. I don't know if it's fake sales that don't actually get actually consummated. I don't know what the story is, but you'll notice that, you go through the price history on it, right? 2 or 3 of them recently within the last couple of weeks have sold for $44,000, $45,000. And that's PSA 10s we're talking about now. If you went back to last year, so January of 19, there were multiple sales for $20,000, $21,000, $22,000. So that means the card's more than doubled in a year. Yeah. Now, you can see the trajectory of the card from January on. I did a quick look at the prices. So June, there were a bunch of them for $28,000. This is 2019. $28,000. In October, there were a bunch sold for 30, low 30s, 31, 32. In December, you saw 38. January, 39. Now, all of a sudden, 44, 45. Now, you're thinking, what's causing that? Is it the same thing that happened with like the LeBron 2003 Chrome? Those things doubled, tripled, quadruples. I was buying those last year for $1,000, and then all of a sudden they were $7,000. Mm-hmm. There's definitely some merit to that, right? So the PSA 10s, there's 312 of them. For Michael Jordan, that's not a huge population. No, the overall pop, we were talking about 810 for the stars. The overall pop for 86, 87 Fleer is 17,144 cards. So there's no shortage of the Jordan. There is a shortage of PSA 10s. And a lot of these numbers are, the PSA 9s is probably a lot of tried regrades, but the 9 is not what I would consider a scarce card. The 9, there's almost 2,700 of those. Last I checked, 2,698 PSA 9s. That's a lot, right? Mm-hmm. So that's more than 3 times the total BGS pop of the stars, just in PSA 9s. How
much does a PSA 9 sell for today?
So again, just like the ones that are jumping for the 10s. Last year you could get a PSA 9 for $4,000, no problem, as a buy it now on eBay. Now they're $8,000-$9,000. So they won't up from the last year. So the most recent sales on those are $8,000 or $9,000. Sure, if you could probably find one that's in an old holder, which people don't like. People like the new holder. You probably find one in the high 7s now, but even that, that was a card where you could buy one in the 4s all day last year. And it's amazing because I talk about the peaks and the valleys. If you look, so the news articles you'll find out there is the summer of 2016. There's blowout forum stuff on this all over the place for whatever reason, just like what seems to be going on now. And there's not a huge amount of sales, so you'll notice over 40,000. There's only a couple of sales that hit that. It's something where the price, it's not like a stock, right? You can't look. There's been hundreds of millions of shares of Apple sold this week, so you know what the price is, right? There's only a couple of sales of Michael Jordan. And a card like this where the PSA 10 is so rare and there's so few sales, you have to kind of take the quote-unquote price market with a little bit of a grain of salt or a whole shaker of salt if you want, because
it's pretty easy to manipulate it. One person out there, who puts in a bid or uses 2 eBay accounts and shills it up. I'm not saying that's what happened on these last ones. They may have gone south, but it's something that you can manipulate. And the reason why I would think, that's happened before is if you go back to that summer of 2016 that I was talking about the last time this happened, there were multiple sales in 2016 of that Jordan rookie for between $38,000 and $44,000.
It was that high?
That high. Yes, sir.
Dang.
So between $38,000 and $44,000. So if you were buying that card, and this is kind of like a cautionary tale also, especially given the overall global economy it is now, if I had $44,000 right now, I don't know if I'd be plunking it down on a Jordan PSA 10 thinking, well, Jordan always goes up. Jordan's great. It's like buying, the most safe and secure thing in the world because, he's a sure investment. There were people who were thinking that most likely in the summer of 2016 who flunked down $38,000, $39,000 or $44,000 for a Jordan and then watched as it went down in 2017 to $17,000.
Or 50% drop.
Yeah. So in some cases more. And it has now, so that was what we were talking about, right? The peaks and the valleys, right? So it happened in 2012, happened 2016. And, like I said, there's no shortage of stuff out there. The fun thing about the card market is there's a lot of places out there you can look for information. Your blog happens to be one of the really good ones for recent stuff.
Thank you.
But, you have, sports card forums, you have blowout cards, you name it, just regular articles written about it where if you just go back and take a snapshot of what was going on at the time, I don't know if it was people, you'll find the articles, right? And Jordan boom articles, right? And, people say, well, what's causing this? Oh, well, there's an influx of Asian money. There's a couple of big Asian buyers who are willing to spend up to $50,000. All right, well, what happened to them? Did the market fizzle? Did they just disappear? Because I'm telling you, after those $38,000, $39,000, $44,000 sales in the summer of 16, June 16, all of a sudden, for 17 and 18, you could buy as many of these as you want, right? So I looked at that Jordan card in 17, 18 myself and said, I've purchased cards that are in a similar range to what the Jordan was selling for in 17, 18. You're talking about vintage baseball cards. I bought a Hank Aaron rookie in PSA 8. I bought a Joe DiMaggio rookie in PSA 8. I mean, these are cards that are $20,000, $25,000. I purchased a Joe Jackson card from 1917. That's a $25,000 card. I mean, I spent money on these cards. And at the time, the other card that was in the range there was a Jordan rookie, was that 86, 87 Fleer. But I passed on those, and maybe now looking at the pricing, I probably made a mistake, right? But I passed on those because the cards I was buying, there were, like the Aaron in PSA 8, there's 90 of them in that, or 150 of them in that grade, or, the DiMaggio, there's less than 100. And the Jordan, for whatever reason, even though it was only 310 at the time, late 17, or 18, even early 19, especially, January of 2019, when I was buying a bunch of these cards, February 19, there were a dozen Michael Jordan PSA 10s on eBay. You could buy them $23,000, $24,000, $25,000 all day long. Well, every auction house had one in their auction. So you're talking about not just eBay, you're talking about, your Heritage, your Robert Edwards, your big auction houses. Every one of them had them. And if you had $23,000, $24,000, you could walk away with a recent Slab PSA 10. You can't now.
Yeah.
You can't go on eBay and do that. I don't know what the cause of that is. It could be the same thing that we were talking about where, the eyes on Luka and Trey and now Zion have focused more attention, more money on basketball cards. It's what happened with LeBron. It's what happened with Kobe's cards. Obviously, there's a bunch going on with Kobe. But it happened with a lot of these guys, and people are looking back. I mean, you could also see, I love the 86, 87 Fleer. I know I've talked about how, Jordan, I like the star card for various reasons, but I own probably a dozen of the Olajuwon 86, 87 Fleers in PSA 10. And that card in the last 6 months has gone from a $700 card to a $1,600 card.
As a PSA 10?
In PSA 10.
That was only $700?
Mm-hmm.
That seems really cheap.
Yeah, in December I was buying it for $700.
Yeah, dang, that's crazy.
$700, and now the last one I think sold. I got an alert that one of the ones I was watching on eBay sold for 15 and change yesterday.
Dang,
so,
nice.
But so and you see the same thing. Dominique Wilkins, you could buy a Wilkins for $1,200, $1,300. Wilkins is a low pop. I think the last I checked, Wilkins was like 93 the pop on that in PSA 10. So that's a tough card in and of itself. But that card, the last one, like I said, sold for $2,500, $2,600. Barkley too. Barkley's gone up. Ewing's gone up, not as much, but all the 86, 87 Fleers have kind of moved
Fleer sticker. I'm wondering about that Fleer sticker, since it seems like the place where if someone doesn't want to move down to like a PSA 3, PSA 4, Jordan 86 Fleer, that they might go and look at the sticker for like a 9 or an 8 or 10.
So to me, the sticker falls somewhere between the regular card and the star. You know what I mean? Like, because the star card is considered an XRC. The sticker is a sticker. And it's funny because with Panini coming back into it, and with the global market, and now I think soccer becoming bigger,
stickers is huge.
Sticker was huge for a little while. I think the sticker might actually be, if what you're saying is that's the place to put your money, it might actually be the place that sees the most increase, because stickers have become a little more commonplace, right? People are actually willing to buy a sticker as a rookie card. I see, I can't say the guy's name, right? But you can. It's because I'm not a soccer guy, but you'll get me into it.
Kylian Mbappe.
Kylian, yeah, MB, right? I'll say I'll butcher his name, right? But you look at his rookie cards. First of all, they've exploded in the last 2 weeks. But there's this Panini foot, which came out in like 2016.
Yeah,
right?
2016. PSA 10s were, I want to say, $500 for the longest time, and there's like no supply on eBay. One just got listed for $3,000. So we haven't had.
I saw it, but especially in cards like that where the sticker was the first card, I think that you're seeing stickers gain a little more traction as a viable investment, quote unquote, card. Stickers were kind of like a joke, when I was collecting. I was like, ooh, you do stickers. Stickers was what your sister collected. They're not exactly rare, but what makes the 86, 87 Fleer stickers cool, I mean, you got a sticker in every pack, right? And the sticker set was what? Was it a 12-card set, or I don't even remember exactly. 11-card set, I think 11. So the centering is just awful. The centering on them is terrible. I mean, some of them, the centering is, like my son could have cut them better. Using the Jordan as an example, right? I mean, there's 7,700 of them graded. 7,700 of them graded by PSA, 119 in 10s.
Dang.
So, even the nines is only, I think 1,700 or something like that in the nines. So, eventually I would think that will matter, right? I mean, if you look at cards today, I mean, this is way off topic, but I like, Fernando Tatis, right? I'm a big buyer of his, top Series 2 rookie from last year in PSA 10, and there's thousands of them, and not just thousands of them, 75%, 3 out of every 4 that gets grades a 10, right? At some point in time, somebody's got to look at the fact that there's 7,500 or 8,000 of these graded by PSA, and only 120 of them got to be 10s, right? Yeah. So that's the story. I mean, listen, these things they sell high. They're definitely not your, people listen to this and say, oh, I'm gonna get in and buy a sticker, and that's gonna be my Jordan rookie. They're still 5-figure cards.
PSA 10, you're saying?
Yep, they're still 5-figure cards.
Let's talk about PSA 8 or 9. Do you know what those go around?
Yeah, so I mean, they're 4-figure, not 5-figure. I'm watching one on eBay that this morning got over $1,000 at PSA 8 in bids. It's got 2 days left, and we'll wind up. We'll see what happens with it. But even those PSA 8s, they sell for plenty of money. I mean, the cool thing with the Jordans is if you're willing to go away from PSA and you're willing to go down a little bit in price, the stickers are easily attainable. You can buy, I think the last PSA 7 sold for $700, $775 for a 7. That's attainable for almost anybody out there. The 6s are a couple $100, and there's plenty of them because, like we said, there's 7,000 of them. The real chase for it is people trying to buy those 10s, because there's so few of them. They sell for a crazy amount of money.
Right. Awesome. Next up on the agenda is the documentary coming out, The Last Dance, airing on April 19th by ESPN, the first 2 hours of the 10-part documentary. What type of influx in buyers do you think we'll see from people? I mean, right now with no sports, I'm sure a ton of people are going to be tuning into this. And, of course, a lot of card collectors too. And maybe there are people out there who flip some Luka, flip some Zion, who have money to spend. Do you think we're going to see a consolidation on some Jordan cards pricing and maybe see some go up? Or do you see it as if people will attract to, let's say, like low-end stuff? Like here, I got something here to show you. You know about these, 1991 Nike promo set.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I'm a big Nike fan. So I went out and bought one of those, one of the Michael Jordan Flight School, and then I also bought a PSA 9.
Yeah, that's a great card, by the way.
of the poster. This actually went from, I bought this for $300 a month ago. It's now up to
probably
like
doubled.
700,
Yep.
750 now.
Yep.
What do we see for cards that are under maybe even $100? Like, I mean, we're talking like 90s hoops cards here. I know this isn't what the main discussion is.
Yeah.
But do we see that really low stuff just go up maybe? Because like it can, you know how low stuff, $50, $100 can double in price overnight. Does that happen?
Yes. So I just, for going back, I don't know if you want to do this. I didn't say $14,000, by the way, was the last PSA 10 sticker price for the 86 Fleer. 14,
dang, nice.
like 15,000 about them. But do I think that there will be some consolidation, some purchases? You know, some people look at it and say, wow, this guy really was great. And the documentary brings some attention to some of his other cards, 100%. And I'll give you here Exhibit A, right? So Exhibit A, I just watched the other day, because we have no sports, a documentary with my son to teach him who this guy was.
Christian Laettner, that's right. I remember you saying that.
And as soon as we finished watching it, I'm like, I got to buy this, right? I went right on. And I think it was $15. It was nothing, right?
Yeah.
But now it gets added to his collection, right? We watched an Iverson one, did the same thing. And I expect things like this to go
nice
up,
card.
Right? So maybe I'll make the whole set of them. Who knows, right?
How much is that Skybox USA card?
It's $50.
Oh man, I want one of those. I might go buy one right now.
There's a few of them, and this one, of course, was the one that got graded the most. So there's the most population of this one of the set. But I have a feeling after the documentary, this will be 100. And
I mean,
what ended up happening for especially PSA 10 Jordans from the early 90s, you can still find some of those inserts that are rare for $30, $40, $50, and those will go up just because it brings.
I mean, this is what I envision happening. I could see someone easily just type in, like, maybe even it's card set name or whatever, or just Michael Jordan PSA 10, sorting by lowest price going up,
just
and just people start buying whatever's there.
Yeah, and there are thousands of them, right? I mean, in 91 Upper Deck, I mean, you couldn't get into a card store without tripping over 91 Upper Deck Jordans. But even those, they're $20, $30. I mean, to get a PSA 10, just to have a PSA 10, put it in the collection. I'm gonna buy it for my kid, whatever it is, right? So yeah, whether it's a hoops card, the old Skybox ones, the Olympic team ones, I like, 'cause it's a little different.
Yeah.
And that also lets me, collect a set for my son. I could buy a Ewing, a Stockton. That's a cool set, that Skybox Olympic one. Now everybody's going to go buy it, and I'm not going to be able to buy it. So, but it's,
all right. I got a last question here for you. So with your Jordan collection, I'm sure you have a ton. We don't need statistics on every card, but going forward, maybe it's the next 5 years, 10 years, 50 years. What is it? What's your plan with your Jordan collection? Are you going to try to flip some of this as people start to go to more demand? Are you just going to, keep it forever? Are you going to, what's the deal here?
So the high-end stuff that gets passed on, right? So, I mean, a little bit about my collection, but I mean, I'm a vintage baseball card collector. I have Babe Ruth. I have a Babe Ruth auto ball. I mean, I got all kinds of crazy stuff, and that'll all go to my son, who hopefully becomes a Yankee fan and, likes baseball whenever it starts up again. So the high-end Jordans, your Star, your Fleer high-end ones, those they're not going to be sold. If I had a strategy on sales, some of the 90s inserts, I think they're ways for people to look to kind of flip over the next couple of years. And you talk about if you want me to kind of like direct folks to some, and you probably have another segment on this, right? But the Fleer Total D, that's a tough card with tough borders. It's black border. The Fleer Team Leaders, which was only in, I think, rack packs, jumbo packs from 93 Fleer. The Team Leaders is a blue one. The centering is horrible. I have a couple of those in 10. I had a couple of those, in 93, 94. I got from packs. And, I graded them, and they graded 5s and 6. And those are ones that I pulled because they were so, mangled already. Your League Leaders. Power in the Key was a cool ultra one from the early 90s, where it was a very colorful card with foil on it, and it was tough to get them in 10s because they chipped. A couple of those cards where, especially like a card like that Power in the Key, where you can look at, where people who are getting into the hobby today that are used to this prism color fancy stuff will look at that and say, oh, wow, that's similar to the stuff that I like now. It kind of fits in my collection. Those kind of things, I would imagine putting money in that now, we'll see a nice, return over the next couple of years. And then that's something you can move. The only thing that I would ever put in my collection that's you're going to keep and hang on to are the best cards for that person. The rookie cards and the best grades that you can get. Everything else is a commodity.
Yep. You can sell it. You can trade it. You can make money on it, just like all those Topps baseball cards say. Everything. I mean, it's crazy how nowadays you can buy and sell literally anything in the sports card market if there's enough demand there. That's all that matters.
And eBay makes it easy, right? I mean, this week with eBay Bucks and the 15% coupon, come on, it was like Christmas for sellers.
Yeah, they were definitely looking at getting some card market money back in there after the last couple months. All right, Matt. Well, thanks for giving your knowledge on the 85, 86, 87 Fleer, whatever you have at market. I hope the viewers enjoyed. Andre Drummond, man. This is
quarantine, man. Right?
I know. Can't hold him down for too long.
Never forget.
This was our part 1. Thanks for joining us, and we will talk to you guys next time.
All right, take care.